Hey, this is Gina Grad.
Hi, this is Teresa Strasser.
Hi, everyone. This is Mike Errico.
Hey there. This is Casey Cavalier.
I'm Rocky Rose.
And you are listening to The Jay Franzi Show.
Lucky you.
Welcome to The Jay Franzi Show. A behind-the-curtain look at the entertainment industry with insights you can't pay for and stories you've never heard. Now, here's your host, Jay Franzi.
And we are coming at you live. I am Jay Franzi, and this is your backstage pass to the music industry. Joining me tonight, the Wilma to my Fred, my beautiful co-host, Miss Tiffany Mason.
Good evening, Mr. J.
If you are new to the show, this is your source for the latest news, reviews, and interviews. So if you would like to join in, comment, or fire off any questions, please head over to jfranzi.com. And as we say, if you feel froggy and want to join in and share your comments, questions, or anything else that you might have, you can head over to jfranzi.com/alive. All right, question of the night. What are songs that have a girl's name in them? What are songs that have a girl's name in them? Tiffany, do not answer now. Wait until the segment. All right, we have Mr. Kaden Collins. Kaden, sir, how are you?
Jay, Tiffany, thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Great to be with you guys tonight.
It is a blast to have you here tonight, sir, because you have your own show, the KGC Show. I said it slow, so I would get it right. KGC Show. Go ahead and tell us what your show is about.
Well, my show is basically giving a voice for independent music artists because we all start from somewhere. My thought, my belief is we can't get anywhere without each other and building communications and relationships. And so I hope that my show represents the inside look at the music industry the best way it can.
That's really cool. What inspired you to do that?
Well, my grandmother passed away of cancer in 2020 on Valentine's Day, one of the hardest days of my life. And I knew that I couldn't make a sad story about it because I don't want people to feel bad for me. You know, when you are at the end of your life, you can't take everything else, but you can take the love with you. Mm. But when my grandmother passed away, I was real in shock that it actually happened to begin with. And, you know, we knew that she was going downhill, but still, when it happened, it was still a very hard time. Well, I figured, well, podcast was big back then. Joe Rogan had just hit his mark with his podcast.
Who's this person? Joe who?
Just a little name by the name of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's a comedian, right, Tiffany? He said he's a comedian, right?
Yeah. I think so. He's got a big platform. I think it's from comedian work, yeah.
There you go.
I was watching Joe and asked, how the heck is it so hard to talk into a microphone? Let me see if I can do it. And I started, the first episode I did was in honor of my grandmother to kind of pay tribute. And then a few days after that, I think it was Kenny Rogers that passed away. And so then we did another podcast. So I basically started out as more of a tribute podcast. When I found the art of interviews and kind of having other people share their story, I interviewed a guy by the name of Blind Joe. Oh, he's visually impaired, but he can rock a guitar. And he's one of my best friends. So I had him as my first ever guest as basically a test dummy, and the rest is history.
Sure, he loved that. That's awesome.
I love Joe, and Joe, he was actually on The Voice season 9.
Huh.
Yeah, he gave a really, really crappy rendition of "Mamas Don't Let the Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys," and he would tell you that himself.
Did any chairs turn?
Yeah, he was on Team Blake, and he got all the way to the knockouts.
So it couldn't have been all that bad, huh?
No, but Blind Joe, he's a great talent. He's a great friend, and when I think about inspirational stories, I think of Blind Joe as one of the top.
That's awesome.
But how I got to be the KGC Show is the original name of the podcast was the Spokane Man. And that's because I was dumb and thought, hey, I live in Spokane and I'm a man, Spokane Man.
You are the man.
Well,
I like that title.
Oh, thank you. Well, I received a very great phone call, and this was the phone call that changed my life, and it was a guy by the name of Jeff Panzer. Jeff Panzer is is the greatest producer that I know. Music videos, audio, whatever. If you need it, Jeff can do it, and he's amazing at anything he actually puts his mind to. And Jeff called me one day, and this is just to show you our type of relationship. He calls me one day, and he says, hey, what do you think you are using Spokane in your name? And I said, man, I think it was sounding pretty cool. And he goes, man, it makes you sound like you're some type of government official type of thing. But I shall never forget what he told me. He said, why are you making a name for your city when you could be making a name for yourself? And he asked me, he said, what are your initials? And I said, KGC.
Easy for you to say, not easy for me to say.
I have it tattooed and I write it down everywhere. But he asked me, he said, what are your initials? And I said, KGC. And he said, about the KGC podcast. And he said, eventually we should just let go of podcast. And I remember right there on the phone, I said, what about the KGC show? And the rest is history.
That's awesome. Well, he is a great man. I absolutely love him. He's been fantastic. He's been a great friend. Very supportive of this show as well. So thank you, Jeff. Kaden, sir, we would love to have you stick around. Any chance we can get you to stick around for the rest of the show?
Hey, buddy, I'm here as long as you guys need me.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start with this story. There's a time before my wife. I don't know if you can imagine it. I can. But there was a time before my wife. And I was dating this girl. You know, we work in the recording studios. I was working with Bob at the time. And we had this background singer come in to work on this record that we were doing. So I started talking to her. We became friendly. We ended up dating. We only went out on a few dates. But what's funny is later on down the road, we found out that the person my wife was dating at the time and that person I was dating, we switched without knowing who each other were.
Funny.
So I started dating this girl. She was an amazing musician, amazing singer, still is, amazing fiddle player. She plays with some of the biggest and the best. She's out on the road right now with James Taylor. I mean, she is just amazing. She played with Vince Gill for years, Amy Grant for years.
Oh, wow.
But she wanted to take me to her friend's house for Thanksgiving one year. So I said, okay, sure. So we went to this girl's house. Happened to be Alison Krauss. So Alison Krauss is her best friend. So we went to Alison Krauss's house for Thanksgiving. It was a great time. She was a very nice person. But what I thought was funny about that is I went into her restroom, and it was large, almost like a restaurant-style restroom. You walk in, and it's large. I walk in, and she walks in behind me. And I'm like, oh, hi. And she said...
Wait, your girlfriend or Allison?
No, Alison Krauss walked in behind me and told me I better take care of her friend. I better not hurt her friend. So I thought that was nice and weird at the same time. It was very cool. I liked it. She was a very nice person. But come to find out that the girl that I was dating was the original person for Union Station. And when she had to leave, she recommended her best friend, which was Alison Krauss, to go take her place, and that became Alison Krauss and Union Station. The reason I mentioned that is because Alison Krauss and Union Station are hitting the road for the first time in 14 years. So my question to you, Miss Tiffany, are you a fan of Alison Krauss?
Yes. Or should I say nothing at all?
You should say nothing at all.
Oh, ouch. That hurt. That hurt.
Nice.
No, actually, I saw in the notes that you were going to talk about Alison Krauss, and I had to pull the song up, and I had to listen to it a couple times. It's so good.
Nice. Kaden, sir, how about you? You a fan of Alison Krauss?
Well, yes, I know some of her music. I might not be as fluent as a singer as Tiffany is on some of her songs, but I know I can get around.
Nice. Well, she is hitting the road after 14 years. I didn't know she was off the road for 14 years, but she's hitting the road for the first time in 14 years. They are bluegrass legends. I mean, they are an amazing group of musicians. And living here in Kentucky, the bluegrass state, known for bluegrass music, I've been going to a lot of bluegrass festivals. So I'm kind of interested to go see her. I probably wouldn't have really been that interested in seeing her in the past, but now being here and learning that appreciation of bluegrass music, I think I would like to go see her. Tiffany, you think you're going to find yourself going to see Alison?
I don't know. I have a hard time paying the big ticket prices. Okay, let me split this comment. Okay, if it's at one of the big arenas, probably not. If it's at a smaller arena, I don't mind paying a little bit more because it's kind of like there's no bad seat in the venue. So then it's like, well, then even if I end up in the cheap seats or the good seats or standing room only, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like all the seats are good. So then I don't mind investing in it. But I just feel like when they do these stadiums, like, you know, if they came to the TIAA Bank Stadium here in Jacksonville and, you know, you're up in the nosebleeds, like, what's the point? You're just watching the TV screen anyway.
Well, I think that's great for rock bands. I love seeing rock bands in the stadiums. I don't like seeing rock bands in the smaller venues. But someone like Alison Krauss, I think I would rather see in the smaller venue. You know, like the size of the Ryman, you know, that size.
Yeah.
2,500 people, 5,000 people. I think that'd be cool. Kaden, what kind of venues do you like going to see shows in?
Oh, I was just at do you guys know who Larry Fleet is? He's an amazing singer. He actually had a song out with Morgan Wallen, speaking of stadiums, called Where I Found God. And he has a bunch of songs out called Earned It and stuff like that. In fact, I recently did a podcast with his bass player, and he played at the casino up here. So I like going to the casino for some shows, but I've seen Jelly Roll in the Spokane Arena. So I just love live music in general. I don't care where the venue is.
Yeah, I could see that. I know we talk about it when artists come on for interviews and stuff. We talk to them about whether they like performing in arenas versus stadiums. To me, that's just basically indoors versus outdoors. I prefer indoors, but a lot of the country artists prefer outdoors. They like the stadium. And it is a lot easier to mix a show outdoors because you don't have reflections. In most cases, you don't have reflections. But when you're indoors and when you're in a stadium, not only do you have reflections, not only is there a lot of hard surfaces, but they change throughout the night because when you're doing your sound check, there's nobody in the seats. Once people are in the seats, now you get the body that absorbs some of that, so the sound changes as the night goes on. But I still prefer the stadium, especially for the bigger rock bands. I really think that's the best way to see a rock band.
Good food for thought on that one. I could see that having the bigger venue, there's more people, right? So like if it's just Alison and her band, then it feels like it should be more of an intimate setting. Plus she sings, you know, some of the ballads and the slower songs.
Plus, you're looking for the venue to add to the sound. Like a smaller venue like the Ryman would add to the sound, where a stadium would be hard for a bluegrass band, in my opinion.
I remember listening to a podcast about music and the evolution of creating music and whatever. And one of the, I want to say maybe it was in the 50s, when they started to realize that they could use the reverb off of the walls of the studio to create the reverb opposed to adding it in or whatever. And I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, one of those things that if you're not creating music, you don't necessarily think of it. Or if you're not having to mix it, on the fly, you wouldn't think of that.
There's a studio, or there was a studio in Nashville called the Tracking Room. And I used to record there a lot with Bob. That was one of the places we would go to. But that studio had a large live room. But then there was one room that had a rock wall, and most people would put a drummer in that room because the reflections off that rock wall sounded very cool. But we, I guess, experimented with that room, so it was a fun time. It was good.
Yeah.
Well, we got Joe here says that Alison's amazing, and you got George here that says he's been a fan from the start.
Whoa, I think we needed Joe to clarify because I'm pretty sure he was saying, I'm amazing.
Tiffany's, you know what? That makes more sense now. It really does. Joe, can you clarify? You were talking about Tiffany, correct?
Right.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Crazy, crazy girl. Oh, wait. We have clarification. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah. It makes sense. And I like being right. So I get excited when I start talking and people start telling me I'm right. And
When I tell
I'm
you you're right
amazing.
and Joe tells you yes, that you're amazing. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it makes the mic a little hot. Okay. Well, Miss Miranda Lambert is releasing a new single, and it's called Run. And this is the second single from her upcoming album, Postcards from Texas. And it is described as a deeply personal track. And Miranda reflects on the end of a relationship with introspective lyrics. So, like a spin off of Taylor Swift or...
Oh, no, don't do it. Do you like Miranda? I really like Miranda. She's one of my wife's favorites, too.
Yeah, I like it.
How about you, Kaden? You like her?
I love that Miranda. She did a George Strait tribute with "The Cowboy Rides Away," and she came out and sang "All My Exes Live in Texas," and she did amazing. But I don't think. Never mind. But but I love Miranda for what she does for country music, because every artist adds something to our genre, and whether we like the sound that they are becoming now, it can't change the past and the great catalogs that she has.
All right, so hold on a second. Does that mean you don't like the direction she's going in now?
Yeah, I would much rather her go back to her Gunpowder and Lead days,
Yeah.
or The House That Built Me, or Over You, or songs like that, that really showcase her voice. I feel like today, this is just me, so I just feel like today is more instruments than it is vocals in some artists. But then in some artists, you have traditional sounding country music. But I love Miranda.
There you go. Miss Tiffany, what are your thoughts on Miss Miranda here?
I love me some Miss Miranda. I love The House That Built Me. I love that song so much. It makes me think of my childhood home. Yeah, that's another song. When it comes on, I gotta listen to it. Sometimes I love a song so much, I just gotta listen to it a couple times in a row. And there's just certain nostalgic songs that do that, and that's one of those for me. And I liked her with Blake. I really liked her with Blake.
That did not seem like a couple in my mind.
Yeah.
They did not seem like a match.
Yeah.
She seems like a Spitfire, and he seems like a goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
That dude is about as tall as you can get.
Yeah.
Oh,
That dude is larger than life.
I remember when I first moved to Nashville, some of the people I was working with invited me to go to a number one party, and the number one party was for Blake. I mean, he is tall.
I looked it up. He's 6'5".
Yeah, 6'5". But yeah, this was in the days of his cowboy hat and mullet. It was cool. He was a nice guy.
Is that where the mullet comes from? From Country Boys? Because do they grow a mullet so that the hair fits under the hat, but it shows out the back?
I don't know. Kaden, you got a mullet going on over there?
I'm trying. No.
I don't know.
If you really want a mullet, go watch Theo Vaughn, one of my favorite comedians of all time. Now that's a mullet right there.
I bet he knows Joe.
He does know Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, for funny.
All right, Miss Tiffany. Sorry for taking you on a tangent.
Yeah. Let me focus here. Okay, so we got new music coming from Russell Dickerson as well. It's called Happen to Me, and it's going to come out Monday. Do you remember last week's episode?
No.
When I said they just picked these little these little segments of words, and they don't really make sense to us until we realize that it's a segment in their song. So I just think it's interesting. I noted it last week, and it's happening again this week with Mr. Russell Dickerson. Lady Gaga, she is releasing her 7th studio album, Mayhem. And can you explain to me, Jay, with all your wisdom, why are they calling it a studio album? What else would it be?
It could be a live record. Studio albums, when they plan to go in the recording studio, they have songs they've written for a purpose to put, say, 10
Isn't
to
that
12
like
songs
99% of them?
together. Yeah, I would say most of them, yes. But
Do we need to say it's a studio album?
It is the term they use, but no, you're right. And they could just say she recorded a new album. Yeah.
Right.
That would make
Because most of us
just say live if it's a live album. I'm with you. I'm okay
That's
with
what
that.
I think.
Now
Yeah,
let me
that's
ask you
what I
about
think.
Miss Gaga. What are your thoughts on Miss Gaga?
Well, I fell in love with her after
Okay.
A Star Is Born.
I knew it. I knew that's where you're going. That was a great song from that movie, by the way.
It was a great song, but I mean, I feel like people aren't giving her credit for the acting ability. I loved her in that movie. I mean, I gained so much respect for her in that movie. And now when a movie comes out with her in it, I want to see it.
She was on the show Hot Ones.
Oh,
But I get all
looking
my
up.
appreciation for her when I see her outside of the music world. You know, on Hot Ones, in the movie, that type of stuff. When you see who she really is, you know, that personality of hers.
I like anybody who is real. So if you make real music and if you have a real heart about you, then I'm all for you. But if you can hide behind a personality, and I love Lady Gaga, but are you going to see me going out of my way to go listen to Poker Face? I don't think so.
Speaking of Poker Face, that
no.
song is covered quite a bit. There's so many people who cover that song. A lot of bands do covers of that song. I think Hailstorm did a cover of Poker Face. Definitely a popular song.
It's my brother's favorite song.
Okay, there you go. Does your brother have a name?
Yeah, his name is Matthew, and he would kill me for saying that.
All right.
So that's why I said that.
it sounds like brotherly love.
There you go.
That's right.
All right, Miss Tiffany, sorry.
I was trying to look it up. There was a Halloween joke a while back about Poker Face, but I can't remember what the joke was. So
Yeah,
I tried to look
that
it up
makes
and I
sense.
couldn't find it.
Wait. We got a buzzer tonight.
Okay, Zach Bryan. He is back on the market, ladies, because he is publicly split from his fiancee, Brianna LaPaglia.
Sure.
LaPaglia, okay? But she is a podcaster, actually, and she has a podcast named Chicken Fry. So if you guys want to check out who she is, that's how you could find her. I'm sure there's plenty of images from the last however long their relationship has been as well, but
That really disappoints me that they're no longer a couple.
why?
Because I have no idea who they are.
Oh,
I don't know if you know who they are, but no, I'm okay with it. Sorry. I'll check out Chicken Fry, though. It sounds like it could be cool.
Zach Bryan is a country artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you know who he is.
No.
I mean, you know, okay.
Caden,
Okay,
who's Zach
well,
Bryan,
somebody-
buddy? You know him.
He's a newer country singer. That's all
That's
I know.
all I know. That's it.
An older country singer that you will know is Carrie Underwood.
Man, you called
And
her
she
old.
is returning
You called
to
her
American
old.
Idol.
She's not going to like that.
Well,
You know,
I
she
didn't call
listens
her
to the
old.
show. She is not going to like that.
Did I say old? An older.
Oh, oh, boy. Let's move on. Let's get
An
past that. She's
experienced-
returning to
An
American Idol, you say.
experienced artist, Carrie Underwood, is returning. She's replacing Katy Perry. She was 21 when she auditioned for American Idol. I thought she was going to be younger.
Yeah, I would have thought so, too.
Yeah, I would have thought like 18 or something. I don't know. 16. Nah, I think like 18. But anyways,
I'm
she was
actually going
21.
to miss Katy Perry.
Yeah, I thought she was good on the show.
I will tell you that I didn't like Katy Perry before American Idol, but again, it was her personality and stuff from American Idol that made me like her. And that's what
Yep.
made a lot of other people not like her, which is crazy to me.
Oh,
Yeah, she got a bad rap for being on American Idol. People seem to, not really like her too much for that.
oh, that's weird. Well, if you want to check out Carrie Underwood on American Idol, it kicks off on this Sunday, the 9th, and it's going to be season 23. So look forward to, so we've got The Voice that has already started, and now we'll have American Idol.
Now, do you think Carrie Underwood's going to be a good judge?
I think she'd be too soft.
You think so? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't get that from her. I think her level of talent, it's kind of like Blake on The Voice. His level of talent gave him that extra little bit of ability to get in there and critique people and, be very accurate with his critiques and stuff. I feel that coming from her.
Well, I love Carrie Underwood, but when it comes down to her judging ability, she can mentor these artists because that's where she got her start, was American Idol. So she can kind of coach them as if, she's revisiting those American Idol days.
Yeah, right, Kaden. It's because she's easy on the eyes.
She is easy on the eyes.
And all joking aside, I really think that her and Luke being two country stars, and they're both funny. Luke Bryan is stupidly funny.
I really like him.
Me too. And then you add Lionel Richie in there, which that just adds legendary status to itself.
He's another one that was funny. You learn to like him because he's on that show.
Yeah. I just think that it's going to be a great season, and I have total faith in Carrie that she's going to deliver the show, but you know what? It's going to be different from Katy Perry.
Yeah, I can see that. Caden's wearing his Tennessee Titans hoodie tonight. So speaking of Tennessee, I saw Lionel Richie by accident in Tennessee. My wife and I were walking down the street when we had our newborn. So we're just walking down the street and somebody was trying to hawk tickets, scalper on the side of the road. So we thought there was a hockey game going on. So we bought tickets and went in for the hockey game, and it was Lionel Richie.
How's that
how
for
was
a
it?
plot twist?
It was a plot twist, but it was a good show. We both like Lionel. It was fun. George says she was good in her first show. She's been very influential. I agree, George. I do. Question of the day. I hope you had time to put your answers in the chat. If not, get on it. What are some songs with girls' names in them? What are some songs with girls' names in them? All right, I'm going to kick it off. Give Kaden a minute to think here. Give George a minute to start typing. George, come on, buddy. Don't let us down now. The very first one that comes to my mind, well, now I say that, there's two. But the very first one that came to my mind was Kiss in the song Beth.
Ah, I don't know this song. I'll have to look it up.
Tiffany, you're fired.
Again, Tiffany, come on.
I don't know it.
Come on. How do you not know that song? That's like the one song that everybody knows from Kiss.
I mean, maybe I know it, but I'd have to hear it. I don't know.
No, go ahead, listen to it, girl. I'm not going to sing it to you. All right, Kaden, give us a song with a girl's name in it.
I got two, Delilah and Elvira.
Did you not listen to the rules?
Oh.
It's like
one?
he's new here.
Cut me some slack, man.
All right, fine. Delilah and Elvira, and we're going to let it go because George is right there with you. He said Elvira as well. All right.
I'm not alone.
Miss Tiffany, my friend.
Well, of course I think of myself, right? So every time, there was quite a while when I would introduce myself and people would be, oh, you mean like Breakfast at Tiffany's? And then that song came out and I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's?
That doesn't count.
Oh, it doesn't count? Why doesn't it count?
Because Tiffany's is a store.
It has my name in it.
George, tell me if that counts.
Then the next one that came to mind was Mandy. Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
I think that's who sings
Do you
it,
like
right?
Barry Manilow?
I don't know. I don't know very many songs by Barry Manilow.
You might get fired again. I begged my parents as a kid to take me to see Barry Manilow. And they did. I went to see Barry Manilow. It was amazing. It was a great concert. I really
Why did you want to see him?
I don't know. He was good. I liked the songs.
How old were you?
He's a great singer. I was young. I was in middle school. I was dating this girl, and we went together with my parents. It was a double date.
Look at you.
Yeah, see that? We were advanced for our age.
Taking the ladies to Barry Manilow and Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about a little... Oops. This chat's moving too fast for me tonight. Jolene.
Yes.
So, hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jolene, huh? How are we pronouncing this name?
Zach.
Zach?
Yeah.
Zach.
He is
No, I
my.
think he's.
Zach,
Oh.
please tell us in the chat if that's right. Caden says it is. He says he knows you.
Yes, I have very many schools with Zach and Jolene, who he's referring to, his sister. I have very many stories that. Well, just go look at his YouTube channel.
Okay,
There you
well,
go.
Maybe we'll come back around and hear some stories. We don't know, but Jolene.
If you guys want stories, I got
Jolene
stories.
is a great song. He says you are like brothers. Look at this. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Nice. All right. Joe says Roxanne.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So far, we're doing good. Tiffany. Oh, no, it's my turn, right? I get to do
Yes.
another one? Oh, Sherry. Steve Perry. I just hit a button. I don't know what button I hit. Who knows what I
Was
just
it
hit.
crickets?
Was it crickets? You want crickets? I have them somewhere. I don't know where they are. Lord knows I'll push a button and something else will happen. Do you not know Oh Sherry?
No.
Yes, you do. There's no way you don't know. How can you
Whoa.
not know?
I mean,
I wish we could play music on this show.
I know. It's such a freaking bummer because the second you hear it, you are instantly somewhere else and you hear all the memory or you see all the memories and yeah.
Or you know Steve Perry, right?
Yeah.
Come on. George, you good with Steve Perry? You know Steve Perry? You know the song? Well, you're up next. No, wait. Caden's up next. Although
Yeah.
he gave 2 last time. I don't know if...
We'll let
and
it
George
go.
says, yes, he does. He knows it, and he knows it well.
Oh.
Caden, sir?
I don't know who actually had this song out originally, but Hello, Mary Lou. That old barbershop song.
All right. I might know it, but I'm not sure.
I'm not going to sing it for you on air because people might laugh.
Is that what it is?
I sing all the time on air, Kaden, and I'm sure people are like turning the speaker down quick and turn the volume, turn it back up. So
Well, I just sound like I have a frog in my throat that won't leave. So
yeah, that's what mine is too. Frog in my throat.
There you go.
glad we know that we're on the same page.
All right, Miss Tiffany, give me another one.
Kathy's Clown. So my mom's name is Kathy, and
she's a
I
clown.
remember my mom listening to it. She's not a clown. But
Wouldn't
I
it have been
remember-
awesome if she was, though? If she was like Bozo with the red nose.
It would have been pretty sweet.
She went to clown school.
She's one of those. She's the 5th clown that comes out of the car.
She's always the last one. She's always pulling up the rear. I don't know. Oh, let's see here. Charity says Little Susie from the band
Wake up,
Tesla.
little
Not
Susie.
that one.
Oh.
But that one works too. I don't know. Is that the title of that one, though? Or is it Wake Up?
Little Susie.
Oh.
Let's wake up, little Susie.
Charity, I like that one. Tesla's a good band. Steven says Jenny. Yeah, that's a good one. Come on, Tiffany. Jenny, I've got your number. 8675309.
Yep, got it. I didn't know it's called Jenny.
I wrote a song with a girl's name now that I think about it. I wrote a song called Christine. About some girl I met on spring break. If you really want to hear that story, go to Spotify. Do some searching.
I had Jesse's Girl.
Jesse's Girl. There you go. Now we're on a roll.
Okay.
Caden's upset because that was an easy one. George says Angie by the Rolling Stones. There you go. So we're getting there.
I'm failing on all levels. Like,
Tiffany, you're fired.
Thank you, AI Trump.
I think it's going to be the theme during this question.
It might be the title of the episode. Cindy says Madeline by Winger. That was a good song. Joe says Annie. There you go. They're coming in now. They are coming in now. Zach says Sweet Caroline. Bum,
Oh, you
bum,
were reading my
bum.
mind.
Theme song for Boston.
It's a theme song for every night you're out
from
drinking.
Boston.
Okay, it's from Boston, but I met this little girl, and her name was Carolyn. And I was like, is it Carolyn or Caroline? And her dad was like, no, Carolyn. And I was like, man, you almost had a theme song for your kid. But I think I would name a kid Caroline just to have that song be their song. But then they would hate it.
Yeah, like my friend Jolene hates the song Jolene.
No,
Well, yeah, because she's stealing Dolly Parton's man.
you gotta love that one.
It never fails that we will be out doing something, and evidently when people hear that's her name, they start singing that song to her.
I would have to.
And she just looks at me like, oh. I just know, tuck my tail and run.
Joe says Susie Q. I love Susie Q because that's my grandmother's name, or was my grandmother's name. Still is. She's just not here anymore.
Yep.
Margaret says, come on, Eileen. This is a late night show, so I guess. Oh, wait, no, it's spelled differently. Who is that? Dexy, the Midnight Runners. Yeah. Oh, Al. I'll go with Al because Al says Lucy, and Lucy is my daughter. See, that's working.
Aw.
Wilson, another one for Jenny, 8675309.
What about Cecilia?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I got a whole list.
Oh, you're cheating.
No, I wrote them down. No, from my mind. I wrote them down.
From your mind? I almost want to hear that list just to see what that mind comes up with. Come on, let's go down that list for a little bit. Go ahead. What's next on the list?
Peggy Sue.
Okay, look at you.
Okay. Black Betty.
Oh, Black Betty.
Roxanne, but we already said it. Jesse's Girl, I already said that one. Breakfast at Tiffany, Kathy's Clown, Wake Up Little Susie, Mandy, Sweet Caroline, Billie Jean, we didn't say that one yet.
That's a good one.
Jolene. And I'm going to end with this one. I'm kind of excited that we're ending on this one. I mean, we don't have for the whole, segment, but for my time is Mary's Boy Child. I interviewed this lady for Christmas songs, and she was from Canada, and it was Mary's Boy Child. And I do not have an appreciation for this song. But nonetheless, it has a name in it, and Mary's Boy Child.
There you go. George put one more in here, so let's go with George's. Stacy's mom, because she's got it going on.
Yeah, she does. Speaking of Dolly Parton, with the song Jolene, her husband, Carl Dean, actually has passed away. Married for 60 years. Wow. And noting that, I think that it's important to also say, acknowledge Gene Hackman and his wife and Michelle Trachtenberg.
She was young,
influential
right?
people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How old was she?
Yeah.
Like in her 20s or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And she's been in a ton of movies and a ton of like Disney shows and stuff that my kids watched. Kind of weird. And then it's still such a mystery with what happened to Gene Hackman and his wife. I think her name's Betsy. So I guess stay tuned to
We'll
see
figure
the
out what's going
conclusion to
on
that.
there. Mm-hmm. What was some of his bigger movies?
I mean, I'm going to have to get out the Google machine.
All right, well, I can Google while you move on.
Well, Jon Stewart invited Elon Musk to The Daily Show. And Jon Stewart is trying to extend an olive branch for a sit-down interview, sparking speculation about the potential clash of wits. And so we'll see how that goes down.
All right, Gene Hackman. He was in Bonnie and Clyde, 1967. Okay. Remember, last week we talked about decades. He was in The French Quarter, 71. The Poseidon Adventure, 72. Young Frankenstein.
What?
That was 1974. The Conversation. That looked like an artsy one. He was in Night Moves. Superman.
Yes.
1978.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the one he's most famous for, I'm sure. It can't be any more famous than this one. Hoosiers. 1986. Tiffany.
Tiffany, you're fired. Goodbye.
Thank you, AI Trump. You are done. No Way Out, 1987.
What's Hoosiers
Unforgiven.
about?
It's about this thing you call basketball.
Oh.
The Quick and the Dead. The Royal Tenenbaums.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There you go.
Okay. So, SXSW 2025 kicks off with star-studded lineup.
Wait. South
The
by
South
Southwest.
Southwest. Yes. Festival begins March 7th, Friday, in Austin, featuring premieres. I don't know why it says that. Anyways, music act and tech talks with early highlights, including the Crazy Rich Asian TV series panel.
Have you ever been? I'm assuming no.
No.
No, you have not been to South by Southwest. Kaden, have you ever been to South by Southwest?
No, sir.
I was going to give you a nickel if you did.
You missed out on a nickel, Kaden.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
You are
here's a
from the
quarter.
60s, Jay.
Here's a quarter. Call someone who cares.
Oh, I see what we're doing now. We're turning on Jay. You got it.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Joe says Mississippi burning.
Okay, well, in other news, Miss Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco reveal their album track list. The engaged couple teases that their collaborative album, dropping later in 2025, is a blend of pop and romance, and they're going to unveil the track list on social media. And what would that do for anybody? You're just getting to know the names of the songs?
Well, if that's all they're doing, then yes. I'm pulling up their photo because I didn't know what he looked like, but all right. If you're releasing the album track list, you're just kind of hoping, I guess, to build up some anticipation. Entice. There you go. You're looking to entice people based on the titles of the songs. Give them maybe a number of songs to look forward to. Who knows? Have they been?
Well, Selena,
I assume
if
they're
you're
a couple,
listening,
right?
yes,
The engaged
they're
couple.
engaged.
If I listened to your story, I probably would know that.
He liked it.
engaged couple.
He put a ring on it.
He liked it. Put a ring on it. All right. What's he from? Is he popular for some reason? I mean, I know what she does, but what's he do?
He is Selena's arm candy.
Hey, there's got to be more to it than that.
Does there?
It wouldn't have to be.
I don't
for
think
me.
so.
All right.
We all get different things out of the. He's a
no.
producer and songwriter.
Yeah, I see that now. An American record producer, songwriter.
Yeah, is she pregnant?
She kind of looked like it in that one picture.
Yeah, and I see another picture here where it's looking like she's pregnant. So
Maybe that's the reason why they're engaged. Who knows?
I'm sure people are like, "Duh, she's been pregnant for 9 months." But
George,
we
really,
don't know.
buddy? Tiffany is a genius. I thought we
you.
had something, George.
He sees through to the real me.
Somebody has to. What is going on in your world, Miss Tiffany?
Well, Jay, you have been here, done this, but my daughter is getting ready to turn 14 this week. Monday.
Nice. Happy birthday, Hannah.
Yeah. So I said, well, what do you want to do for your birthday? And she was like, just like a sleepover. And I was like, oh, sweet. Because, we've been spending so much money on cheer that I'm like, oh, a cheap birthday? That sounds great.
Hannah, if you're listening, she doesn't mean it in the way that it sounds.
Yeah, I do. She knows it.
Never mind.
Oh, she knows. Because I told her, I said, well, I want to go see Parker in Nashville. And so I was like, we got to save up money for that. I was like, if you don't have anything that you're just dying to do. Other years, she's been dying to do stuff. But she's getting a little bit older now, 14. I mean, we're not gathering around the table, blowing candles out with unicorn balloons in the background.
You should.
So
keep the tradition alive.
We could. I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve if she does do a sleepover. But then she started
turning
talking
tricks
about
again.
the lot lizard that I am. No, I'm not. Okay. But Yes. So then, but she starts telling me, like, but this person doesn't get along with this person, and those two don't like that one. And I was like, well, what are you going to do? And then she was like, well, I'll have a sleepover, and then we can go to fancy dinner. And I was like, whoa. Now this is all adding up to the same amount as if we did something big.
Yep, that's the way it works. You know, my eldest, the one that is currently 14, turns 15 this month.
Oh, right.
So we've got that coming. I don't know what the plan is for her. You know, she says like you, something small, maybe a couple friends sleeping over, which is going to turn into dinner someplace, which is going to turn into something else.
Yes.
But you know what? She deserves it.
I know. We always succumb to whatever she wants to do because she's worth it. She's a good kid.
Yep. Ours is as well.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Hannah. Happy birthday to Bella.
Yeah. Wow.
There you
Big
go.
month for us.
Kaden, how about your kids? Your kids going to have a birthday today? No. He found that to be funny. The lucky man in the room without kids. Gotcha.
Not today, anyway.
Not today. Not that I know of. Kaden, sir, what do you got going on this week?
Well, man, I'm trying to stay as busy and active as I can. You know, we got the great Jeff Bateson coming out on the podcast Friday. He will be out this week, and then our great host Jay Franzi will be on the week after.
Nice.
Woohoo!
One of the greatest.
Where's your clapping button?
Yeah.
Woo!
Very lucky on that. Very lucky.
But the great podcast host that is Jay Franzi will be on that show the following week, and then who knows who I have coming up after that. Kind of really just pray before every episode and see who God wants me to put on the show and see what happens.
God is a great booking agent. He does a great job. Hey, Joe, thank you for the kind words. He says, great job, everybody, and he will be watching again. I hope you do, buddy. It was good to have you here tonight. Miss Tiffany, what else we got going on? What other stories can we bore people
two
with?
things. I actually want to know. I want to tell you that when you get the button right, I feel like you just played button sound effect Russian roulette.
I really did.
And sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you lose all your chips.
That's true.
Okay. And second of all, I want a follow-up question to Bella turning 15. Does she get her permit?
I don't know if it's 15 and a half here. I think it's 15 and a half when you get your permit here. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. But yeah, I know none of my kids have really shown an interest in driving, but Bella lately has been showing an interest not only in driving, but like cars. Like she's really getting into cars.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I took her to a car show last year. We went to see one of the cars that was on the Jay Leno show. So
cool.
That was pretty cool. We get to go talk to the guy who owned the vehicle and get to hear the whole story behind the car as if we didn't just watch the show.
Right.
But we heard the story again. He was a very nice guy. It was a good time. But my daughter, cool. I didn't think she would even like going, and I didn't even know if she liked it that night. However, she's been collecting, Matchbox cars and really looking into different cars. So who knows? Maybe we will be buying her a car shortly, I'm sure.
Very awesome. Good luck with the insurance on that.
Yep. $26,000 a month, I'm expecting.
Roughly. Yeah, you're in the right ballpark.
Kaden, don't have kids.
No, they're very expensive. Well, this past weekend, I think I told you that I was going to go to the beach on Saturday, which I did. I did a little work in the morning, then I took myself to the beach, and then I had dinner with a friend. And it really stunk that the very next day I had to work our coffee peddler cart for the Florida Coffee Peddler. And it was so cold. I had my winter coat on with 2 shirts, a long sleeve shirt and a t-shirt. I had my regular leggings on, plus I had fleece line leggings on, socks, tennis shoes.
You live in Florida.
So cold. I know, we had the coldest breeze coming through where it was like parting your hair. Oh, you don't have hair. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you jealous.
I have it. It's just not in the places you would expect it.
Rewind the tape.
my glory hole and my...
Whoa! Now who's taking a left turn?
Wait, what was that quote from last week? From the Saturday Night Live episode? What was that?
The tragedy of your vagity. Oh no, your smoke hole and your blowhole.
There you go. And what did she say? No one mows the grass in the winter.
No one mows the grass in the winter. Am I right?
There you go.
So yes, I just thought it was so interesting that one day I was on the beach and then the next day I was freezing my tuchus off. And that's just kind of the weather. Like when your state decides to transition to the next season, it's like that, right? Like it's like one day it's freezing and then the next day it's like the best day you've ever had. And then you go back to being cold. And
Well,
yeah,
that's
we have
what
no
it's been like
tolerance
here.
for it.
I mean, it's been warm here and then today it snowed. So who knows?
I know.
I mean, I'm sure it's not
freaking
going to stick.
rude.
It was just a little flurry. But Kaden, sir, who is When Words Fail, Music Speaks?
That is the great James Cox. That's another podcast. I called a bunch of my podcast buddies and said, "Hey, get in here, make me look good." I'm just kidding.
There you go.
I'm
James,
kidding.
buddy, thank you for joining us tonight. Please make sure you stick around and maybe come back again in the future. We would love to have you.
It's weird, Kaden. I said that to all my friends and none of them showed.
You know, we're
Well,
here. We're here. This is it. This is all you got.
My two best friends. Thanks for showing up, guys.
Joe says that Pennsylvania is the worst state for season change. They change daily.
Yeah,
I love when they do like the wherever you live. I feel like everybody does this meme where it's like the 4 seasons, or it's like every day of the week, and they're all different. Or they say like February comes and March comes, and then April's like hold my beer. You know, because it just changes so much. Aw, your biggest fan, Kaden, Mr. Joe.
Well,
Smoking
Joe is more than just a friend. He's a brother, you know. And in fact, he actually got to open for 2 young men by the name of Charlie Daniels and Daryl Singletary. And he
Nice.
actually got to open for them both in concert and actually got to spend a full day with Daryl Singletary. And he's just a historian within himself. So Joe is a great. This is a guy that you guys should get on the show
That's what I'm
because
saying,
he's
Joe. Come on, let's set it up, buddy.
Man, he's
Yeah.
by far way more interesting than I am. He has those
I
wood
thought you were going to
designs.
say more interesting than Tiffany. I was going to say, yeah, you're right. Now that you mention it.
But he makes wood carving designs and he's really good at it. And I just think that he would be a great addition to this show.
We could use a logo carved in wood, Joe. You know, if you'd like to do that for us, we're here. We're here for you, buddy. We are here to lend a helping hand. Miss Tiffany, what other stories you got for us tonight?
Well, speaking of my little coffee cart, I went and did
Coffee
the coffee
peddler.
peddler today. Yes, the coffee peddler. I went and did it today. We had a big storm come through, so I just did table service inside. It was at the store, though, and it had all these expensive, like, refurbished handbags, and not, like, made in China, but it's Louis Vuitton, but, like, real Louis Vuitton. Okay, but I have never understood this women's affinity for these beautiful bags. Sean bought me this really nice Michael Kors bag a couple years back, and I returned it. Like, expensive
I hate
things
you.
don't excite me. I don't want to babysit them. I want, like, if it gets something spilled on it or a snag or whatever, like, I don't want to worry about it. I just want to keep doing my thing, and I like it to be nice enough, but I don't want it to be where I, like, sunk all this money into it, and I don't want to be committed to that purse. Like, if I did get a $2,000 purse, now I've got to use it till the end of my life.
I'm reaching in
And
my
I'm just not
pocket
interested.
here for my man card because I'm about to lose it. I may as well just hand
Oh,
it
God.
over right now.
Yeah.
I, for whatever reason, love bags. You know, purses, backpacks, any type of bag. But
Oh my goodness.
I'm the one that goes out and buys my wife nice handbags, and she doesn't care. You know, she doesn't
No.
want them, doesn't care for them. But I love bags. I don't know what it is.
Is it leather? Is it
I
like
do
how
like
they're
it.
sewn?
Well, it's not just leather, because I have like a whole bunch of backpacks. I just like pockets. I like good quality. I do like the good quality stuff. I don't like cheap backpacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was at this lady's house on Wednesday mornings. I put my little halo on and I go deliver food to senior citizens. And I went to this one lady's house and she was so kind. And she had all these buttons out on her table and she was telling me about all the buttons. And I was genuinely interested in any stories she had to tell me about these buttons. I was there for it. But she was trying to be so generous and she wanted to gift me these 2 buttons. But they were really, really old. And they were like little black balls sewn onto little triangles of leather. So they were old. And she was explaining to me how they used them to clasp the lady's gloves. Or she was saying how they needed, like, people who collect buttons, they are a hot commodity because when people are reenacting things from the past, they like the authentic buttons. And I guess that our underwear used to be held together with buttons. And so she was saying, because you're from the 1960s.
And a couple safety pins and tin foil here and there.
So we've got nice bags, but we've got holy underwear.
Underwear,
that need to be
yes.
held.
I have holy underwear. It's been blessed.
Yeah, so I just thought it was so interesting and wondered, do you have an expensive habit? But maybe you have an expensive habit and it's your handbags or like briefcases or backpacks or those kind of things.
I do like all that stuff, but I do not think I've had the same backpack forever. It's something I got at Walmart. Now, granted, it was $100 at Walmart. I have no idea why a backpack at Walmart was $100.
What?
But it was the one I wanted out of all of them. My thing is not necessarily expensive habits, but I like quality things. So if I'm going to buy something, I'd rather spend the money, buy something quality one time and keep it for a longer period of time than buy a bunch of cheap crap and keep trading it in.
Yes. Yes.
So, but that's only with things I really care about.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I am a big fan of these tumblers. I have like 6 of these and I always have water in them. It's like a 32-ounce tumbler that's thermal and insulated and all that kind of stuff. Because down here in Florida, I mean, literally, if you take a beverage outside, the ice is gone in 22 seconds, okay? So you have to have these thermal...
Just a minute ago, you were saying you're freezing and you had on extra layers of clothing. Now the ice melts in 22 seconds.
Well, okay, for 9 months out of the year... For 9 months out of the year, ice melts very, very fast. But all the little boutiques in town, they put the vinyl stickers on them because they can make them with their Cricut and, customize them, whatever. I never buy those, though. I want something that's quality. So I like them when they're engraved in the tumbler or if it's like actually painted on and not crappy painted on, like enamel painted on. Like you can tell it's good quality. So I agree with that because I don't want to replace them all the time. They're kind of spendy. I'm willing to invest. But I also expect it then to last for a while too. And the stuff with quality, it gets like that patina or like that comfortable old sweatshirt feeling, right? And I like that.
That's the only reason why I keep the wife around.
Yeah, that old nostalgic feeling.
See, Joe says, it's a good idea. He can do that. I'm assuming he's talking about the woodworking, but, also think about the show, Joe. So both of those things. Woodworking in the show. You know what? You can come on the show to show us the woodwork. See?
Yes.
There you go.
Incorporate
we're making it all coming together. But yes, to me, the expensive things are only for things I care about. Like music and the equipment and the stuff I have. I care about it, so I buy the good stuff. But if I was out just, futzing around with, like you said, your water bottles or something, I don't care about water bottles. So just give me whatever crap that's out there.
Yeah, I don't care very much about my handbag.
Yeah.
My handbag is $50 from Marshall's, and it says it was originally $100.
That'd be
Whatever.
Fair. That's
it's
a fair
soft
price
leather.
for a handbag.
Yeah. So it's nice leather. It's got a nice leather strap. It looks like quality, but I'm not paying for the brand. I'm not doing it. It's so stupid to me.
Kaden, what's your vice?
This is my purse right here, and this is all I carry around.
It looks nice.
Yeah. My sister got it for me.
There you go. Thank you, sister. Does sister have a name?
Peyton. Peyton Wolf. She's my inner best friend, and what I mean by that is we could go anywhere together as a family, and we end up sitting right next to each other every time. We love each other. My other sister Shay, she's right there with Peyton. She's amazing as Peyton, and those two keep me on my feet. They keep me active, and
She sits on your other side. And then your brother sits across from me, and then you realize you're at the kids' table at Thanksgiving.
well, she's the reason why I haven't seen a green dollar bill in a while. They both are.
So what is it that you would spend your money on? What's the one thing that you don't mind spending a little extra on?
I know that this is a music show, so I'm just going to say music. Vinyl records.
We say it's a music show. We spent the past 10 minutes talking about handbags. Somehow we took a serious left.
Well, food. There you go.
Food. I love food. Dear God, I love
buddy.
food. You know. Let me take a tangent for a second.
Please.
Kaden mentions food. At work, we're trying to do this like healthy initiative thing. So they've got a scale, and they put the scale in my office. I've got a scale in my office, and every Wednesday people come in and weigh themselves and see if they're losing weight. And I haven't done a single thing to try to lose weight. If anything, I feel like I'm eating extra. And I kid you not, I have a good sized desk drawer that's on the side of my desk, and it comes out. And this girl came in and poured an entire thing of like all the leftover Halloween candy. So the desk drawer is just overflowing of candy. So I'm snacking on this candy all the time, and somehow I've lost 10 pounds.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if it's all the Coke. I'm sorry. Cola. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm losing weight without trying. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that. Still.
Yeah. I want that diet. So
Yeah,
is it like
too,
Milky Ways, Kit Kats? What
It's
is
Kit
what's in there?
Kats, it's licorice, it's
Okay.
Sour Patch Kids. It's just a
Put
variety
it all on the
pack.
grocery list. You know, kids are making candy salads now.
Yes. My kids do it all the time. Every party they
super
go to,
annoying.
there's a candy salad, and I
Yes.
laughed about that. But then I started eating out of it.
Yeah.
Joe says he wants the candy. Yeah, that's the problem. I want it now, too. I probably ate 26 Twizzlers today. It's great. I don't know. We went for Mexican food today. You like Mexican food?
I should have been born Mexican.
Here we are. We've become a culinary show now, too. So, we're taking a lot of tangents today. But we went for Mexican. My wife loves Mexican food. I think she loves Mexicans, too. But we went for Mexican food at lunch today at work, and I loved it. I just sat there and ate, and the people I went with, I don't think they really cared to be there.
Kaden, what do you order? What's your go-to at a Mexican joint?
Food. I don't care. Just give me
I like
food.
the free chips and salsa.
Free stuff.
My son introduced me to pollo con orzo. It's just chicken and rice, but I do love it. I love it. But I also like a little queso on there too.
I like the ones that come served in pineapple. You know, there's a Thai dish that comes served in pineapple rice with shrimp and chicken. But then there's also one
wow.
at the Mexican restaurant. It's a burrito that's got pineapple and cheese and stuff covered on it. And it's got chorizo and shrimp and stuff. It's just good.
I might have to go get food after this.
I know. It's making me hungry.
James spends way too much money on music.
And he is also a great artist himself, too. He is very good, too. I can see why he says that he spends a lot of money on music.
Very nice. Well, James, please connect with us. I'd love to check out your stuff, your music, and your show. Very cool. One of these days, someone is going to come jump into our show.
I know.
Come in live.
I know. Everybody's so shy.
I know. I'm expecting George to do it. George keeps promising, but
Come on, George.
that's what I say.
You got 3 of the best podcast hosts in one. You can't lose.
Yeah, you get me, Tiffany, and James is here too. Oh, Kaden. That's what he meant. KGC. KGC Show.
I'll remember that next time you call me.
Nice. Collabs with musicians to make cover songs. That's awesome, James. All right, well, we've done it. We have blown past the top of the hour once again, which does mean we have reached the show. So if you would like to keep up with us, please do that over at jfrenzy.com. We will be glad to keep the conversation going. And as we say, if you've enjoyed the show, please tell a friend. And Miss Tiffany, if you have not,
Tell two.
tell two. Kaden, sir, it's been a blast having you here tonight. Do you have any final words you'd like to leave us with?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Jay, and thank you, Tiffany, for having me on. But most importantly, I just want to say thank you guys for what you guys do for music. Thank you guys for keeping a fun conversation. And this, for me, is the pinnacle of podcasts to ever reach. This was my goal when I first started podcasting, was one day to end up on this show. So thank you. My dream has been fulfilled.
Don't make us cry at the very end of a show like that. Thank you, buddy. We do appreciate it. Looks like everybody, loves you here too. And George is saying, you are a great friend. James is saying, you are the best. Fantastic.
It's the GOAT.
My family would say thank you for making my big head bigger.
Nice.
Let me just finish by saying this. Thank you, guys. I'm honored, and I love you guys. And anytime you guys need any help, call me. I'm one phone call away.
You are awesome, buddy.
I'm
Thank you.
only one
Oh,
call away.
boy. Miss Tiffany, any final words from you? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Tiffany, you're fired. Goodbye.
All right, folks, on that note, have a good night.
Thanks for listening to The Jay Franzi Show. Make sure you visit us at jfranzi.com. Follow, connect, and say hello. This episode has been brought to you by VR Knives, your source for 100% custom knives made by a true rock star. So, if you're in the market for a new piece of art, reach out to VR Knives. 407-421-5528. 407-421-5528.